The night Linda lost everything began like every other night she had trusted love. Her phone buzzed softly on the bedside table, vibrating just enough to pull her from half sleep. She turned lazily, expecting the familiar warmth of Fred's name on her screen, the usual "sleep well, baby," or a soft voiced note, telling her how much he missed her. Instead, she saw the same cold words she had seen all morning. No network. She blinked once, then twice, hoping it was a mistake. She switched off her phone and turned it back on. She rechecked the signal bars. Nothing. Her chest tightened, not because she was certain something was wrong, but because a small, terrified voice deep inside her had begun to scream. A voice she had ignored too many times. She slid out of bed slowly, her bare feet touching the cold tiles, and walked toward the window. Outside, the city was already awake. Car horns blared, generators hummed, people laughed, argued, lived their lives like nothing had happened. Everything looked normal, but her world had just cracked open. She redialed his number. Still unreachable. She tried Cynthia's number. No response. Paula's number. Also unreachable. That was the moment Linda realized that the man she had trusted with her heart, her secrets, and her life savings was gone, and he had taken everything with him. Before that night, Linda had been the kind of woman people admired quietly. She was not loud. She was not flashy. She never begged for attention or waited for validation. She worked hard. She saved a lot. And she built in silence. At 27, she had already achieved what many people in their 30s were still chasing. She lived alone in a modest apartment she paid for herself, a small but neat space that reflected her discipline. She owned a growing business and ran it with focus and care, waking up before sunrise and returning home late, tired but fulfilled. She kept her finances organized down to the last naira, writing everything in her notebook, tracking her progress, and setting goals. Linda did not believe in shortcuts. She believed in sweat. She believed in planning. She believed in waking when others slept and pushing when others rested. She didn't depend on anyone. She didn't ask for help. She didn't borrow money. If she wanted something, she worked for it. That was her pride. That was her strength. People called her a boss lady, and she earned that title. She had built her life brick by brick, carefully and patiently. Every savings goal, every business plan, every late night, every sacrifice had a purpose. She dreamed of expanding her business, owning a bigger space, traveling, and one day settling down with someone who understood her grind and respected her independence. Love had never been a priority to her. It was something she believed would come later, after she had secured her future. Then, she met Fred. It happened at a friend's birthday party, one of those casual gatherings she almost declined because she was exhausted from work. Her legs hurt, her head was heavy, and she wanted nothing more than to go home. But her friend begged her to come, even if it was just for an hour. Linda arrived late, wearing a simple dress, no heavy makeup, her hair neatly packed. She planned to greet the birthday girl, stay briefly, and leave. Fred noticed her the moment she walked in. He wasn't the loudest guy in the room, but there was something calm and magnetic about him. When their eyes met, he smiled warmly. Not the fake kind. The kind that made her feel seen. He was sitting at the bar, but he stood up and walked up to her. They spoke casually at first. Where she worked, what she did, how did she know the birthday girl? Their conversation flowed naturally, like two people who had known each other for a long time. Before she left, he asked for her number. She hesitated for a second, but then gave it to him. That was the beginning of everything. They started talking every day. Morning messages, late night calls, long voice notes. He listened to her. He encouraged her. He praised her ambition. He made her feel special in a way she had never experienced. He told her he worked for a private agency handling contracts and investments that brought money in the short term. He showed her receipts, documents, and contracts. Everything looked real, professional, and convincing. Linda had no reason to doubt him. She went about her day as usual. Between work, phone calls, and business deals, even at that they would still talk like she wasn't extremely busy. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't foolish. But when someone looks you in the eyes and speaks with confidence, when they show you proof, when they introduce you to people they claim are family and friends, when they are consistent and affectionate, your guard slowly drops. Fred made sure to make her feel safe, seen, and secured. Slowly, Linda started trusting him. Because he never seemed like someone who would lie to her, and he never gave her any reason to doubt him. He introduced her to a girl he called his sister, Cynthia, and his friend, Bala. They were friendly, warm, and convincing. Linda trusted them. The first time she met them was on a quiet Saturday evening, when Fred invited her to a small restaurant not far from his place. He told her he wanted her to meet two people who meant a lot to him. Linda was a little nervous, but also excited. It felt like a step forward, like their relationship was becoming something real and serious. When she walked in, she saw them already seated. Cynthia was the first to stand up. She was tall, with smooth skin and bright eyes, wearing a simple but elegant dress. She smiled widely and pulled Linda into a quick hug as if they had known each other for years. "So you are the famous Linda," she said playfully. "Fred talks about you all the time." Linda laughed shyly, feeling instantly at ease. Cynthia had a gentle voice and an energy that felt safe. She talked freely about their childhood, about how Fred had always been protective of her, how he never joked with family. Every story sounded natural and believable. Bala was quieter but friendly. He shook Linda's hand firmly and smiled. "You are good for him," he said. "He's happier these days." The way they spoke, the way they teased Fred, the way they corrected him on small things, all felt real. It felt like watching siblings and longtime friends who truly cared for one another. Linda had no reason to doubt them. They spent the evening talking, laughing, and sharing food. Cynthia asked about Linda's business and praised her discipline. Bala nodded in admiration, telling her she was rare and different. Fred watched them proudly, squeezing Linda's hand under the table. That night, when Linda got home, she smiled to herself. Meeting them made everything feel more real. It made Fred feel safe. It made him feel genuine. What she didn't know was that the warmth, the laughter, and the stories were carefully rehearsed. Every smile had a purpose. Every word was part of the trap. Their relationship grew deeper. Linda began to open up. She told him about her struggles, her goals, her savings habits, and how careful she was with money. Fred listened, and he planned. One day, as they sat together on his small balcony sipping tea, Fred casually mentioned an investment opportunity he had been involved in. It wasn't a sales pitch or a hard sell. It was subtle, the kind of conversation that slipped into your ear and planted a seed without you even realizing it. "You know," he began, swirling the cup in his hands, "I tried something recently with a friend's company. It's an investment. Short term. Not much work is involved. And honestly, it doubled my money in less than 3 weeks." He smiled, a slow, confident smile that made Linda's chest tighten. He didn't push it. He didn't demand attention. He simply shared it, as if telling her a secret he thought she should know. Linda frowned, curious but cautious. "Doubled your money? That sounds risky." He leaned closer, lowering his voice, as if sharing something confidential. "It's actually quite safe if you know what you're doing. And I did my research. I know the people involved. You could try with just a small amount first, see how it goes. No pressure. Just experiment." She looked at him, studying his expression. He seemed so calm, so confident, so honest. Every fiber of her, every cautious thought she had about money, screamed at her to stop. But the warmth in his eyes, the trust they had built, overpowered that inner alarm. "I don't know," she said, twisting the hem of her sleeve. "I've always been careful with my money. I can't afford to lose anything." Fred reached out and placed his hand over hers. The touch was reassuring, grounding. "I know, Linda. That's why I suggested starting small. Just enough to see if it works. If it doesn't, you'll know for next time. But if it does," his eyes sparkled, and he didn't need to finish the sentence. She understood. It could change everything for her. She hesitated again, weighing every possibility. But deep down, she trusted him. She trusted him with her heart, her secrets, and now, she was beginning to trust him with her money. "Okay," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'll try it. Just a small amount." Fred's smile widened. Genuine, or at least it seemed so. "That's all I'm asking. Small steps. You'll see. I promise it's worth it." Linda made the transfer that evening. She watched the confirmation screen glow, a tiny thrill running through her. It wasn't just about the money. It was about trust, about taking a chance on something she believed could be real, with someone she believed in. For the next 2 weeks, she checked her account nervously every day. Each morning, she hoped to see a change, a confirmation that she had made the right decision. And when the money finally appeared, double what she had invested, she felt a rush of excitement and disbelief. She stared at the screen, unable to move for a long moment. It was real. It worked. Fred had been right. And with that small taste of success, the seed was planted. The thought of what she could achieve if she invested more began to take root in her mind. Little did she know, that seed was not one of opportunity, but one of manipulation, designed to grow into the trap that would take everything she had built. Fred praised her endlessly that night, and it wasn't just empty flattery. Every word felt personal, intimate, like he saw her in ways no one else did. "You're smart," he said, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face. "You're careful. You work hard. You deserve more than what life has handed you so far." His voice was soft, almost reverent, and Linda felt a warmth spread in her chest she hadn't felt in years. "You're amazing, Linda," he continued, leaning closer so that his hand lightly touched hers. "You've built so much for yourself. Most people don't have the discipline you do. Most people would squander the chance you just took. But not you." She smiled, a little embarrassed, her cheeks warming. She had never been praised like that. Not like this. She had grown up hearing that hard work was its own reward, that money should be earned quietly, and that love was a distraction. Fred made her feel like her achievements mattered, like her careful, disciplined life was worth noticing, worth celebrating. Then he planted the seed. A small suggestion, subtle, wrapped in warmth and encouragement, that would grow into a storm. "If small money can do this," he said softly, almost like a whisper meant only for her, "imagine what your full savings could do." Linda laughed at first, lightly, nervously. "Fred, you're exaggerating. That's too much to imagine." But she didn't stop thinking about it. That tiny thought began to curl in the corners of her mind like smoke, whispering possibilities she hadn't dared consider. What if it were true? What if she really could multiply everything she had worked so hard for? The very thought made her pulse quicken, made her feel dizzy with excitement and possibility. Over the next few days, he didn't let her forget it. He spoke casually about dreams, freedom, and growth. "You could travel anywhere you want," he said one evening over coffee. "You could buy that bigger office you've been talking about. You could just live your life the way you've always imagined." He was only suggesting, not pressuring her. Every suggestion was gentle, never a demand. He never pressured her. He didn't raise his voice or tell her she had to. But he planted images in her mind. A beautiful life, bigger than the one she had. A life that felt within reach, because he had made it seem possible. Sometimes he would look at her with something intense in his eyes, a look that made her forget caution. "I see it for you," he said one night as they sat on the couch, his hand brushing against hers. "I see the life you deserve, and I can help you get there." Linda wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe in the life he described, the life of freedom, abundance, and safety. She trusted him, and had trusted him from the start, and now, mixed with the excitement of the money that had already doubled, her trust began to override every warning in her mind. The seed he planted grew into certainty. She started thinking less like her careful, disciplined self, and more like someone imagining the life she could have. The thought of possibility became overpowering. It drowned out caution, prudence, and common sense. And then, one quiet night, she made the decision that would change everything. She transferred her savings. Every single naira she had painstakingly set aside over the years. Every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every careful calculation gone. She sent it all to Fred. The instant she clicked confirm, she felt a thrill and a fear that tangled together in her chest. Fred was waiting for her at her apartment later that night. He cooked dinner. He made her favorite dishes, lighting candles on the dining table. The aroma of the food, mixed with the soft music in the background, and the intimacy of the moment. He was attentive, gentle, and affectionate, brushing her hair back, holding her hand across the table, and looking at her like she was the most important person in the world. "Babe," he whispered as he leaned down to kiss her forehead, "your life is about to change." She thought it was for good, not knowing the worst thing that would ever happen to her was about to happen. She smiled, feeling the warmth of trust, desire, and hope. She believed him. She believed that everything she had ever worked for, everything she had ever dreamed about, was now on the verge of becoming real. Love, desire, and the promise of abundance blinded her completely. She did not see the trap that had been set, the careful web spun around her, the lie hidden beneath the warmth of his touch and the sweetness of his words. She only saw the man she loved, the life she wanted, and the future she thought she could finally grasp. That night, she went to bed in his arms, feeling a sense of safety she had never known. Little did she know that by morning, everything would be gone. Every bit of money, every ounce of trust, every dream of the future, swept away by the very hands she had held close. Every naira she had worked for, every sacrifice, every sleepless night. The next morning, he was gone. No calls, no messages, no social media. His sister was gone. His friend was gone. She tried calling him severally, but his line was switched off. Same with his sister Cynthia and his friend Bala. She went to his house, but not a single piece of furniture was in his house, as if he had packed them before he came to her the previous night. Her world collapsed. She was both confused, heartbroken, and shocked. At first, she didn't know what to do as she couldn't process the whole situation. She finally reported the case to the police. They asked her for his real name so they would be able to track him. But she wasn't sure Fred was even his real name, since he lied about everything. He may have lied about his name as well. She struggled. She cried. She questioned herself. Why did I become too foolish? She asked herself, crying. How did I let someone brainwash me so easily? Why? She continued crying. She stayed depressed, trying to get back on her feet financially. Her life went on slowly, until 2 weeks later, when she scrolled through her social media account. She saw his post online. His face. A different name. She ran to the police. With the little she had, they tracked him. When the police got to his location, it was a big apartment in a big city. He was living life on Linda's money. He was arrested. She demanded her full refund, but unfortunately, he had used part of the money. So he refunded the remaining part of the money and went to jail. Linda didn't get everything back, but she got herself back. And she learned the hardest lesson of her life. Not every gentle face comes with a gentle heart. Sometimes, love is the mask that steals your world. Please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories coming up.